No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me too. All right, good afternoon, everybody. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to my uncle Jocelyn E. Chase service. My name is Jermaine Solomon. I'm his eldest nephew. Alongside of me is my two cousins, Latoya Ifill and Melissa Ifill. Um, Personally, for myself, my uncle Jocelyn E. Chase, I, as I already explained, he's my uncle, and I'm Maria Junior Solomon. Um, Personally, what I can say from my many years since I came to this country from Guyana, very proud that this was my uncle, and I would always be gratefully indebted to him because little did I know that the values and the things that I've had to this point in my life is because of him. And the reason I say that, I just tell a little anecdote real quick and I get into the program. When I was a little boy on the same Jerome Street, I used to get bullied as a little child. So one day the bullies was coming through the block, and my uncle, being who he is, he stopped them and made me fight them. I lost, and it was a very valuable lesson. But that in itself shows me no matter what it is, any type of battle, anything I go through, I always got to fight no matter what. And thanks to him, he valued me to make me the man I am today. I might not have had a father in my life, but my uncle was my father figure. As much as I don't know. So today we're about to honor a man as well as a precious soul that we all will be greatly missed. Jocelyn Ephraim Chase, affectionately known as Boy, was born on February 17, 1964 in Georgetown, Guyana, to Joyce Chase and Oswald Chase. He was the fourth child of five children. Jocelyn graduated from Multilateral High School in Guyana before migrating to the United States in the mid-1980s. He worked as a mechanic for many years. His favorite hobbies include cricket, soccer, baking bread, fishing, and most of all, enjoying waltzing. Jocelyn was known for his outgoing personality, which was present whenever he entered a room. But most of all, he was known for his loving, caring spirit, which he exhibited towards his family, friends, and anyone in need. He will ever be loved and missed by his family. He leaves behind sisters, Maria Solomon, Janice Solomon, Diane Bender, and Monica Adams. His nephew, Jermaine Solomon, nieces, Latoya Ifill, Melissa Ifill, Tashina Adams, Teresa Adams, Shawnee Bender, and Serena Bender. Brother-in-law, Paul Bender, and Kenneth Adams. Uncles, Oswald and Ezra Copeland, and many other family members. So at this time, I'll let my two cousins, Melissa and Latoya, and as well as my other cousin will come out at a period in time, Teresa, to read a poem for Uncle Boy.
Hello, everyone. I'm Melissa Ifill. I'm going to read a poem here that just reminds me of my uncle and how he would feel during this time. In your thoughts, we will touch. In your dreams, we will meet. Now our hearts be like one. I am your shadow. I will always be close. Hear my voice in the wind. We are dance in the storm. feel my warmth in the sun. Remember my love. I will always be close. Do not weep from my soul. Time will pass, pain will fade, you will laugh, and I will smile. Live your life, my love. I will always be close. Good afternoon. My name is Latoya Iso. I'm Boyd's oldest niece. Before I get into my poem, I want to just one. My uncle. Um, since his passing, one thing that I keep hearing in my head, if you are a family member, you know me, everybody calls me Mouse. And that's the name that was given to me by my uncle. And till this day, I can hear him, Mouse, every time, yelling my name. I remember like one time when I was in New York, we live in Brooklyn, and he came to visit, and I'm like coming home, walking down the street, and he's coming out of the car, and he screams, Mouse! And I'm like, dude, lower your voice, this is embarrassing. Like, I'm a grown woman, I'm not a little girl, but as much in my adult life, being around my uncle, he always makes me feel like his little niece. I will always miss him. Before my father even came to this country, my uncle was the one I remember teaching us how to ride a bike. Like my cousin mentioned, he was always our protector. And that's one thing I will always remember. That's my only uncle. And I will forever, ever keep him in my heart. And when I hear Mouse in my head, I will always listen up. So the poem that I'm going to read is called The Measure of a Man. Now, did he die? Not how did he die, but how did he live? Not what did he gain, but what did he give? These are the units to measure the worth of a man as a man, regardless of birth. Not what was his church, nor what was his creed, but had he befriended those really in need. Not just what the sketch in the newspaper say, but how many are sorry that he passed away. So to his friends, please wish his family well and always keep our uncle in your heart. My uncle has been on our block for many, many years. He is a great soul, and we will forever keep him in our hearts, cherish him, miss him, but most of all, we would definitely keep his spirit alive. Thank you.
Just a moment, please have Teresa Adams to come up and read your poem, please.
So I'm Teresa. I'm one of his youngest nieces. This is not easy to do this. So I'm going to start off by reading a poem called Brothers. So it says, brothers are so special in a really unique way. You form a solid bond with them, no matter come what may. Time goes by so very fast. What are all those years? We've had a lot of happy times and also shed some tears. Brothers have a special way of making you feel at rest. As they had you as a brother, I know that I'm blessed. I still feel very close to you, even though we're miles apart. You will always be my brother because we're joined was in the heart. This was it. It's not easy. But I'll miss you. And I can't wait to see you again in paradise. I love you.
So at this moment, like any family members, relatives, or friends, just to come up and just in your own words, just speak from your heart how Jocelyn Bowie made you feel. So at any point, there's no order, there's no. You want to come up? And nobody, please, don't feel rushed. Just take your time and then come from your heart. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Monica Chase, and I'm Jocelyn's youngest sister. I'm the baby of the family. A little disgusting one. On November the 11th, at 5 o'clock a.m., my life has changed dramatically. I couldn't believe what I was seeing or what I was hearing. My only brother, my only brother that I had in my life has gone too soon. I have learned so many things from my brother. People might not know. I could consider myself today as one of the best driver and parking. We fought so many times on Jerome Street how to park. And today I appreciate all that he did. I got beatings following him when he's going fishing at the race course. My sisters would know what that is. But I always wanted to follow my brother. He had his ways, we all do. But the bottom line is, my late mother, Joyce, Evelyn, Hooper, Chase, has raised 5 special children with different qualities. And we all could say that today a lot of her qualities in each and every one of us. Her skills is in all of us today. Sometimes I see it. Sometimes people remind me of my mother, but my brother always remind me of what mommy left behind. He embraced it, so now we have to embrace what he left behind. A lot of talk, a lot of teasing, but my brother had a good heart. I know that I came to America with him. It was a struggle. I experienced when I went to high school, I would come home and cry about what was going on in school because I had an accent. I did not speak like the rest of the students in school. And he told me, excuse my French, he said, Monica, let it wait the backside. You know where you come from. Embrace where you come from. Don't change for no one. And I continue to do that for the next almost 40 years in America. So with Jehovah's help, I'm going to continue to love my brother and remember all the good things that he has shared with us, shared with his nephew Jermaine, his niece Latoya, Melissa, Tashina, Teresa, Shiny, David, all of us have special moments, and I'm going to carry that on because one day I want to see my brother boy in paradise along with my parents. Thank you, and I love you, boy. I love you. Good afternoon. I'm Kim. Good player, John. I'm also Lisa. Tone. I'm Tone. We all love John. He was such a good cat person. And I knew his mother, Miss Joyce. I stayed over there all the time. He always tried to put me out like Miss Joyce. She said, boy, leave her alone. Leave her alone. Like I said. But I'm a Miss Johnson. Leave her alone.
Good afternoon, my name is Dan Dan. That's what Josh called me, Dan Dan. So I met Josh when I was 19 years old. And he's the closest thing to a father I had since my father left and went back to Brazil in 97. I met Josh in 99, a good friend of my mother's. But our friendship didn't remain an extension of him and my mother's relationship. I stayed with him off and on for the last 20 years. All of the Papadam stories, I learned so much from Josh. I mean, I used to go and find El Dorado for him just so he could chase home. Like, for real, that was my dude, man. Like, open that mailbox. Rasa! He said, ooh! I said, Dan. He said, my pitney. That was my dude, man. I love that dude. And a couple months ago, I was in a low place, and he sat me down. He talked to me. He said, "Dan, you gotta turn the corner. Man. You gotta turn that corner." And if I hadn't, I've been right there in that house. So he saved my life. My kids and my grandkids are gonna know about Josh. Straight up, straight legs. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Blunt's family. My name is Tony. I grew up in 1500 That's like father to me. She would knock on his door. May his mother rest in peace. She say, Josh, your son outside. Tony, you at the door. All the time. Josh would never deny me anything. I'm a street runner. Changed my life around me. Thanks to helping Josh. Like I said, he never denied me anything. Always gave me good information. And for us that grew up in 600 block of Jerome Street, I think that's a special block because we had some of us had our fathers, and we had other fathers that looked out. Like you said, it takes a village to raise a child, not just the parents. And that's what we have in 600 block of Jerome Street. And we're surely going to be missed. I just seen I'm running paying this mechanic all this money for my wife's car, back and forth, back and forth. So when I get a problem in the car, and I say, Josh, Lincoln next door, that's all he do is BMW. Him and Josh. Run down there, go see him, talk to him. He say, Josh, my son, give me his new phone number. So you don't answer the phone. He say, hush, that's me son. It's me son. Like I say, it's truly gonna be missed in my heart. And my kids, my family, truly know him. Thank you all.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ronald Burks, and I live on the 1400 block of Jerome Street. Um, I'm a newcomer there. Haven't been living there for a short period of time, I would say 5 to 6 years. But I couldn't allow this time to go past without me saying some remarks regarding my friend Josh. Josh is a good man. He had a beautiful, humble spirit about him. One thing I would say, he saved me a lot of money as far as working on my vehicles. One thing about Josh is that his word was his bond, because a lot of times I was in a situation where I needed my vehicle because my occupation, that where I work, I have to have a good running vehicle, and a lot of times, I wake up and my battery's dead or I have a flat, and I would know who to go right to, Josh. And Josh would say, well, I'll be there in 10, 15 minutes. I'll bring it down to my house. And I would do that, and within that time frame, Josh was there and took care of the problem. One thing about Josh, when he worked on your car, be ready for some stories, because he had some stories to tell. And they were good stories, even stories that helped me along my way, And he just was a great guy, and I'm going to miss him. But I will say this in my closing. If there's any chariots that may be in heaven, they have a wonderful and certified mechanic. May God bless you. Rest in peace, guys.
Thank you for the beautiful words. Now at this time, I'd like to introduce the uncle. Come to the podium, please. Mr. Laszlo Copeland.
Jermaine has just explained to you, my name is Oswald S. Copeland. I'm a member of the family, the Chase family, the Solomon family, and the Copeland family. In fact, Jocelyn's mother, who died almost 40 years ago, was my sister. I may have the numbers wrong. Anyway, if my sister were alive today, she would have been 85 years old, which makes me 75. She's 10 years older than me. I know it's a trying time for everyone. I know all of the girls, and I also know Jocelyn. I just found out that he's also called Josh. But what do I want to talk to you about today? I've decided that we should talk about death. Because once you get to a certain age, you start to think about certain things. Like what happens when one dies? Is there a record that is kept somewhere about Josh or Jocelyn and Chase? Who keeps it? We are a Christian family, the Copelands, the Solomons, the Chases. And hence we go back to the Bible a lot when we look at our lives. And for this moment, I'd like to go to Micah chapter 3 and verse 6. Verse 16. I'm using a digital Bible, just in case you chapter 3, verse 6 says, "You will have night, there will be no vision, there will only be darkness for you, and no divination. The sun will set on the prophets, and the day will turn dark for them." If we go to another scripture, Malachi, it gives a different understanding of the Bible. At verse 16, "At that time, those who feared Jehovah spoke with one another, each one with his companion, and Jehovah kept paying attention and listening. And a book of remembrance was written before him for those fearing Jehovah and for those meditating on his name." So a book has been opened for Jocelyn. A book has been opened for each one of us. So what is expected during our life expectancy? How long did God say man possibly will live? 120 years? How do we know? The best way to answer that question is to go to the book in the Bible here at Psalm 90 in verse 10. Verse 10 says, "The span of our life is 70 years, or 80 if one is especially strong, but they are filled with trouble and sorrow. They quickly pass by, and away we fly." 70 or 80 years. Today, what is that special mightiness that enables us to live beyond 70, 80, 90, possibly 100 years? The special mightiness is medicine. But for all intents and purposes, we have 70 years to make a record that's going to be accountable to Jehovah God. I use the word Jehovah for those of us who are familiar with Jehovah as the name of God. So once we get to that middle age of 40, 45 years, we have to start thinking, now what have I done? Not only for myself, but what have I done so that my record, when the great God looks at it, will start saying, well, something is important. What happens to Jocelyn now? Is he in heaven? In a chariot? You go to certain places, they tell you that this is a celebration. He's in heaven, he's having a great time. He is with the omniscient one. Before I conclude, I'd like to kind of clarify that concept of life after death. If we go to the last book of the Bible, book of Revelation. It's the book that reveals all the secrets that have been confusing mankind since the inception of sin in the world. In Revelation chapter 20 and verse 12, and I saw the dead, the great and the small, standing before the throne, and scrolls were opened. Those books that we just talked about were opened. But another scroll was opened. It is the scroll of life. The dead were judged out of those things written in the scrolls according to their deeds. Now, this will happen. Will it happen tomorrow? No. When will it happen? In verse 30, and the sea gave up the dead in it. People have died in flames, fallen into the sea. They will be resurrected. And death and the grave will give up the dead in them, and they will be judged individually according to their deeds. And death and the grave were hurled into the lake of fire. This means the second death, the lake of fire. In verse 15, furthermore, whoever was not found written in the book of life was hurled into the lake of fire. What is going to happen? Jocelyn and many, many more people will be resurrected back to this earth and be judged according to their deeds. Now, those deeds would not only be the deeds that we have exercised here on earth, but there's going to be a time when the devil will not be around to tempt us to do things. It will last 1,000 years of paradise when all the dead will come back, and then this judgment will take place. So, what happens to one when one dies? The record is kept. If you're due for a resurrection, you will be resurrected. And then within those 1,000 years, because one day with God is 1,000 years with man. You want to know why that's true? God said to Adam, the day that you sin, you will die. How long did Adam live? He lived beyond 900 years. He didn't live 1,000 years. He died within God's day. So let's think about that for a second, friends. All is not lost for Jocelyn. All is not lost for you. But we have to seriously consider what kind of record you are going to establish so that when the scrolls are opened, not at the end of tribulation, but after the end of the 1,000-year reign of Jesus Christ, that you will be one that moves on into life eternal and not to destruction, the lake of fire. Thank you. Well, friends, we have come to the end of this memorial for Jocelyn Chase, Boy, as we are familiar with calling him. And as according to the program, we're going to have prayer. So I have been asked to do that. Jehovah our God, our Father in the heavens, we come before you to make supplication. Supplication for you to help us to consider our lives, for you to help us to understand what is required of us in order that we will be, in the end, be among those who will rejoice in paradise, including Jocelyn, and all those who have been favorably disposed to your word. We ask that you help those of us who have many kinds of problems, mental and otherwise, that we try to see how your word can help us to change or make dramatic changes in our lives so that we will not forget everything. We'll not do away with everything, but we will make those adjustments, the same kinds of adjustments that were made by Abraham, by Isaac, by Jacob, and many others, so that in the end, you will find favor with us. We pray and thank you for all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
So, my uncle said at the end of the service, but for the last 15 minutes, we just like everybody just to just sit there, just talk amongst yourself and just, you know, let the moments and the memories just sink in as best as you can. Thank you.